Hey, welcome to episode 5 of Interview with the Muse. I am your host, Maddie Clifford. I'm so happy to be here today because I'm going to be answering questions from the Coven. What is questions from the Coven? That is a moment when I answer questions from you, the creative community, about any challenges you're having, any situation you want to talk about. And if you have a question for me that you want me to answer anonymously, or I can answer your name or an alias, whatever works for you, message me at maddiecliffcoach@gmail.com. That's maddiecliffcoach@gmail.com. So today's question has to do with social media. I get a lot of questions about social media, and I have so much to say about social media. I've learned a lot over the years. And the question, it's like a threefold question. I'm going to do my best to answer as much of it as I can. So this question is now a good time to get on social media? What social media platforms are actually worth my time? And how do I get over the ick of marketing myself? Ooh, 3 questions within a question. I love that. So is now a good time to get on social media? Yes. Short answer is yes. I mean, there's never a wrong or right time to get on social media. I would say the thing that is really the question beneath this question is what social media platform is right for me. And that is a question that I can't answer without knowing you personally. But what I can say is that it's impossible to be on all these dang platforms. There's so many different platforms. They have different purposes. They have different uses. They have different billionaire oligarch people that control them, right? So there's that aspect to put into play. One thing that can help you feel a little less stressed about social media is, I think one of the problems that happens is we tend to like have this really negative experience or way of thinking about social media where we're like, social media is the problem and this is why kids these days and society is bad, is because of social media. Keep in mind that before social media, there was newspaper, there was TV, there were other types of media technologies. And all of these media technologies, for as long as the United States has been this huge capitalistic empire, have been created and monetized in order to profit and for advertisers, right? For investors. It's not about really spreading information all the time. It's not about being creative all the time. And oftentimes we think social media is this new thing that's reinventing the wheel, but we need to remember that it's just another form of media communications. Okay, it's a type of technology, and I'm gonna please just accept the fact that it is not different from what newspapers were like when they first came out. You know what I mean? Like, everybody was reading a newspaper. It was a big thing. And there was the tabloids, and then there was the reputable sources of newspapers, and there was all this beef about them. The TV, I mean, I'm going to age myself right now. I'm a millennial, but when TV, a lot of people grew up watching TV. That the TV basically raised them. Is there that much of a difference between TV raising you and your iPad raising you? Maybe yes, but maybe no, because both of these technologies the technology itself isn't good or bad, but we live in a capitalist society in which our communication tools are being used to advertise to us, right? So then that's what makes them, they have aspects within them, if they're not used in a way that is very intentional, can be extremely detrimental to our health. And I think what makes social media so unique is that social media, I guess it is kind of similar to newspaper and TV, unless you have a media studies course, or you get which not a lot of high schools or colleges or even middle schools for that matter teach. Social media is something you use basically from the moment you're born till, if you were born in the early 2000s, right? You might have used social media from the moment you're born till now. And nobody ever explained it to you. Nobody ever sat down and told you this is how you search for things and research and use social media to your benefit and to gain information, as opposed to writing the algorithm, which is just going to lead you towards either entertaining you or distracting you or getting you to buy some shit. So that's my social media tangent, just to get to the nitty gritty, because you're saying is now a good time to get on social media. And what you're really asking is, what social media platform should I be getting on? And that is a question that I can't answer without knowing you. But one thing that you can think about as an artist in terms of which social media platform is right for you is think about what's your artistic medium. Where are your favorite creators in your artistic medium congregating? Are they going live on Twitch? Are they making TikToks? Are they on Instagram? Where are they? Are they on YouTube? Right? And think about, what are your goals with social media? Besides, I mean, everybody's like, get a lot of followers. Like that's usually their goal. But the thing is, social media is constantly changing. And one of the really important things to understand too right now is that having a lot of followers, depending on what platform you're on, does not equate to money. Okay, there's a lot of like obscurity about how content creators actually make an income and generate an income from the content that they share. And it's really important for you to be intentional before you start devoting a ton of time on social media. And I'm saying this as someone that has wasted a shit ton of time on social media and hasn't made nearly as much money as I should for all the time that I waste. But then again, think about it. That's the point. It's like these billionaires have like now taken over all of our, like they control a lot of our social media. But remember, they also have controlled our TV and our newspaper in the past. So it's not social media itself. You're following me, right? You're following me. Okay, so you're going to want to think about what platforms, maybe think of like one or two. So like if you're a writer, definitely want to get on Substack. If you're a podcaster, maybe you really like Patreon. It depends on what, and then you also have to understand your audience. So it's almost like, I think, what's the wheel before the horse? Is that what it is? The wagon before the, okay. So basically, don't try to build a big social media presence before you have a pretty firm grasp of why you want to build an audience. What is the purpose? Do you want to make money? Do you want to get more jobs? Do you want to build an audience? Like, what are your goals? And that will help you determine which social media platform to be on. And then the second question was, what social media platforms are actually worth my time? Again, I kind of answered that question within the last answer, is like, all of these platforms are pretty much geared toward getting you to spend as much time on them as possible. So keep that in mind and be really diligent about, slow and steady. Like you don't need to be chasing virality. I think it's important. Like I've gone viral. Like I went viral a couple years ago for my "What's a Scam" question, and I didn't make any money from it. My face was everywhere. I didn't know. I had never gone viral before, so I didn't know what to do, like what the steps are to like actually capitalize off of your virality. So we're in a new climate in social media where it isn't actually like super difficult to go viral as long as you're really consistent, but the virality doesn't have the same, it doesn't pack the same punch that it did maybe like 5 or 10 years ago. Definitely doesn't. Where virality would change your entire life. It could possibly benefit you, but it might also not benefit you. So think about building a genuine community more. Then another question is, how do I get over the ick of marketing? Okay, so the question within that question was like, how do I get over the ick of marketing myself on social media? That is a really tough question, especially if you're not the type of person that, likes to talk about themselves a lot. I'm an Aries, so yeah. So it's like, I'm not saying that Aries have our pros and cons, but we are a little bit self-centered. It can be at times. So I have no problem talking about myself. Not saying that I always feel 100% happy or 100% like I deal with self-doubt like any other person, but I also would say I'm a pretty confident person. So I do really like putting myself out there. Okay. So one of the things that can help you get over the ick of marketing is, this is something that really changed the way that I looked at everything. Okay. If you're not marketing yourself, you're already being marketed. Like somebody is projecting who they think you are onto you right now. They're determining it by what you say, how you look, what kind of art you're putting out there. They're coming up with a brand for you. Marketing yourself is a way to take ownership over that brand, to take ownership of how you want to be seen in the world. To be like, oh, you thought I was this thing? Well, actually, I'm this thing, just so you know. So if you're somebody that, like, for example, if you present as somebody that's like super like girly and cute and like maybe a little bit like ditzy and everybody's just like, oh, like maybe you notice that people interact with you differently because they think that you're not that smart, but you're brilliant, then you might get excited about marketing yourself because you're like, yo, I look cute and I look like this on the outside, but now I'm going to tell you who I really am. And wait till you find out who I really am. So that can kind of give you an exciting feeling about how to like, it's like you get to tell the real story of who you are. Because the fact of the matter is, if you're not telling that story yourself, somebody else is telling it for you. Okay, if you're not telling yourself, somebody else is telling it for you. Okay, hopefully that was helpful. Again, if you're watching this and you want to ask me a question, send your questions to Maddie Clifford Coach. I think I've been saying Maddie Cliff and Maddie Clifford Coach. It's Maddie Clifford Coach at gmail.com. And remember, our love for one another is more powerful than all the systems conspiring against us. See you next time.